Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is FOLO Tech, FOLO Cast. I'm your host, Sean Ruffalo. Today it's June 1st, so we just had, it's also Monday. Cool thing about yesterday is we just had on like all the charts, whether you're doing technical analysis for stocks or for crypto, we had all of the candles close for the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, all the same day, which that's kind of cool. It's kind of rare. Like the impact of that is that you have all these different algorithms that are constantly analyzing and charting little lines and moving averages and EMA ribbons and things like that. All these algorithms are using the candles, right? And so when a candle finishes, whether it's for the day or the week or the month, that impacts, all those algorithms. All those algorithms can say, oh, now I have the new daily candle. Oh, now I got the new monthly candle. If it's an algorithm that looks at multiple ones, or if it's just one that looks at the monthly one. And so when you have all those candles close all on the same day, it's kind of like it hits all those at once, and sometimes you see some bigger moves. I'm eating. I got some sausages and sauerkraut. I was gonna do the go live, and I went to YouTube, press go live, and it says you have to wait 24 hours. But yeah, today I just want to do like another kind of long form video, just kind of, solo podcast style. No really plans to talk about anything in particular. We're just gonna examine what's going on out there in the world. Eat some more. I know a lot of people don't eat on their channels, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," but a lot of people don't like it, especially on Twitch. But I don't care. So myself today, I just got done. I made a video for a job application, which I think is actually a pretty cool idea. I've never really thought of it before, but I got a response back. I had sent out a application because I want to move to South Florida, and I saw that Grant Cardone's company is hiring there, and they're hiring for a couple of different roles. They want to put me into like one of their like marketing positions, I guess. So it'll be mostly like web copy and making like landing pages. It'd be a cakewalk for me, honestly, after what I've done the past few years. But yeah, sent off an application to them. They emailed me back. They were like, "Hey, we'd like to look at your resume. Can you send us a 60-second video of what you would bring to the team?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So I did that and sent it over, and they were like, they called me and they were like, "Hey, we liked what we saw. We're gonna send you like basically like a test. It's gonna be like a landing page. So if you don't know what a landing page is, it's like where someone lands after they click on an ad. So they've expressed that they're interested in whatever it is you're advertising, and now you're gonna have something available for them to purchase it right away, and also maybe sell them a little bit further if they're just expressing interest. So the landing page is like where you make the final sale basically, and often the transaction. And so they sent it over, and I made like all these notes on this landing page about like what I would change, and the layout and the copy and the mobile styles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just like it seemed very inhuman. And so I remembered that 60-second video, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna instead of like sending over all these notes and all this crap, I'm just gonna make a video and like express like kind of first impressions of the landing page, what I thought of it, all the details that I would change, and yeah, I don't know. I just uploaded it and sent it their way, so we'll see what they think. It's not on this channel, so I'll go looking for it. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we'll do that in the future too. They didn't ask me to do it that way. But yeah, I think it gives people a better idea of what it would be like to work with you. So I think that's the way to go. Just my opinion. I might try that in the future, just like unprompted with someone that like hadn't requested a 60-second video, and see what they think too. But yeah, we haven't heard back from their team yet. I just sent that over their way before I cooked up this. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've done today. I was thinking about maybe going to like southeast Portland and talking to people about everything that's going on, and it was just a lot of people like protesting and stuff like that. It seems like Portland is doing a really, really good job at remaining like non-violent and non-destructive for the most part. Like everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard is like, the cops like opened the doors to the Justice Center and were like gonna let in some leaders to like talk with the police, but then like somebody like lit off fireworks and so like ruined the whole thing. And so it's like it seems like every time something like that happens where there's like a provocateur or something like that, it seems like in Portland they're getting chased off and it's not spiraling into riots and craziness like we're seeing in some other places. I think Denver is pretty bad. Minneapolis is obviously, kind of the center of everything. But yeah, I don't know. I was gonna do that today, and I thought to myself, if I actually make a video about what I think is the right thing to do, and then properly promote it, and then maybe go up once I have a video recorded and give people like links to the video or something, I think it's a more effective communication method for me than going out and trying to engage with people that are very fired up about violence and trying to explain to them why I think that banks are responsible for all of this, basically. So explain that a little bit. I don't think that banks are racist inherently or anything. Although you could definitely argue that point, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Lots of black communities that are unbanked, and yeah, that's definitely a point to be made. But basically, I believe that banks are at the tippy top, and right under them, you have your politicians, and the police are kind of the jackboot thugs of politicians, is what they've kind of become. I mean, if you can even, kind of. Like, they're that, and they're also just like a self-funding gang, at this point. It's really crazy. Um, I don't even really know what I was going with that. Just talking about. Oh yeah, yeah. So I wanted to make a video, and I was gonna make like a short video, like, hey, like here's your like your information ration of like stuff that's important to pay attention to right now. But I was like, I'll just do another long form and include it in there. So we're gonna talk about some of that stuff, about what I think you should be focusing on right now with everything going on in the world. What you can do to protect yourself, keep yourself safe, keep yourself sane, preserve your wealth, maybe even grow your wealth, etc., etc. What technology is relevant, how technology is going to impact the job market. We can talk about some of that stuff. And yeah, I think the most important thing that everybody should be focused on right now is their safety and their sanity. And, I think that you should have a way to defend yourself, basically, right now. I have a gun, and I think that if you're comfortable with that, you should have a gun, or maybe move in with someone, because who knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen right now. I might be looking at years of chaos like this, and years of riots, and figuring out a new structure and a new way to police ourselves, and a new way to govern, and a new way to vote, maybe a new way to exchange money. Who knows? No one knows. So I think it's important right now to not panic and not go spend all of your money on bullets or anything crazy, but have a way to defend yourself. If you're in a country where you're not allowed to have a gun, or you're not comfortable with it, or you're not allowed because you're like a criminal or something like that, then find other ways. I'm not saying like you go buy a gun illegally or anything like that, but if you're in America, a lot of people don't know that you can make guns, and it's usually pretty legal to do so unless you're making like a destructive device, which would be like a breech-loading artillery system. You can't make one of those, or like an automatic weapon. You can't make that. But for the most part, you can make guns. Also, air rifles are another kind of weird choice that you might not think of, but That's a real thing too, and they're pretty crazy. People are hunting deers with these, and probably even bigger animals. If you look up on YouTube, there's a channel called Demolition Ranch, and it's this guy that lives in Texas. He's a veterinarian, but he also is super in firearms. And he reviews this air rifle. It's called the Air Force Texan, and it's like silenced. It's 50 caliber bore, so it shoots a big projectile and it shoots it pretty quick. I forget the FPS or whatever, but it says that it has like the same amount of energy on target as like a 45 long Colt. So that's substantial for sure, especially for talking about an air rifle. So yeah, I don't know. I would also, past that, more likely. I mean, if we get into a situation where you're having to defend yourself and things like that, we're also probably going to be looking at disruptions in the supply chain. So, have food, have a way to filter water, have a way to purify water. For me, I just have like a little hand pump filter, and I have loads and loads of those little purifying tablets. I have lots of natural water around me, both in like the form of small little creeks that are coming down from the hills, and also I'm right near the lake, and also there's a river I can walk through within like 5 or 10 minutes. So lots of natural sources that I could just go and easily filter and purify if I needed to. And I have lots of canned goods too, so that's kind of the route that I would recommend. Is just like, have food that you would eat anyway, but now's kind of the time that you want to stock up on it, and to have like 3 months worth of stuff ready to go is kind of a good mark, I would say. So yeah, just get practical supplies and a way to defend yourself, and a way to defend your family, and a way to make sure that if you, basically the way I view it is like this, is like anytime people are talking about like prepping or saving up food or having a way to fix water or anything like that, solar panels, stuff like that, I'm like, if you don't have a way to defend yourself, it's like you're just making a storage unit for a guy that is going to come around and take everyone's stuff that doesn't have a way to defend themselves. So yeah, that's kind of my view on it. So if you're going to do any prepping, it's like, have a way to defend yourself first, because that's going to come into play if you're using that other stuff. So that's like the first major thing that I would focus on, just arms and supplies. Next big thing I would say is like pay attention to the financial world right now. There's a lot of crazy deals going down. There's a lot of shadiness. There's a lot of stuff that's not even really in the background. I mean, the Fed is printing trillions and trillions. I think they've done like 6 trillion or maybe 9 trillion at this point since the start of this year. So, I mean, if it makes any sense to you, if you've studied history at all, if you've been paying attention to countries that are recently been affected by hyperinflation or even just regular inflation, this sucks too. It's robbery as well. It doesn't have to be super, super bad. It's like, it's like you're still inflating the currency. But if you ever pay attention to any of that stuff, you might be thinking that America's headed down the same route. I do. I don't think the dollar is going to be around much longer. Personally, I think I didn't think it would happen this quickly. I didn't think that we would have like a pandemic and then riots caused by police violence and people being pent up and everything else. But here we are. I thought it was going to maybe happen over the course of like 10 or 20 years, but now I'm thinking it might be by the end of this year we might be looking at a digital dollar or something to that extent. Maybe it'll be XRP, maybe it'll be some Ethereum token, some Ethereum government token. That sounds pretty likely. Definitely won't be Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is going to be the one that you want if you want to preserve your wealth and have something that's deflationary. So I don't know if there's really only 2 deflationary assets, and if you have your supplies and a way to defend yourself, and now you're looking to preserve your wealth or grow your wealth, and this time is like you need to get out of inflationary assets, because if you think inflationary assets are bad right now, they're gonna only get worse because of this. Inflationary assets, I mean, basically anything other than Bitcoin and real estate, because those are the two things we can't make more of. And now when I have conversations with this, I'm like, well, actually, the real estate might become slightly inflationary. Like, it won't really be a factor, but basically in the Philippines and in Dubai, that's what everybody knows about. They figured out how to add new land, new sections of cities, new little islands is what they did in Dubai. In the Philippines, it's like a new sector of the city that they just slapped on. So, yeah, land in the future might be something that's like, oh yeah, we can make more of that if we need to. So, Bitcoin or land. And then past that, I mean, you could get into stocks right now. There's loads and loads of opportunity in that kind of market. If you want maybe a little bit less engagement with your investments and a little bit less risk, I would say commodities and commodity futures. That's also good trading. It's a good thing to look into. I think with those, it's like you just have less to pay attention to. Whereas like a company, it's made up of people, and I don't know, like commodities futures trading, it's like it feels like you'd be able to trade with like a broader brush, basically, if that makes any kind of sense. But yeah, just get out of inflationary assets, get into deflationary assets, get multiple streams of income if you can. This is something that I definitely need to work on. Relied way too much on my jobs and just growing my salary to kind of reach the next level versus like starting businesses. It's like I've tried it here and there. I've like dabbled, but I've never really committed. And I did like lead generation, which is like basically making I had websites. This is when I was living in North Carolina for like roofers, HVAC technicians. Those are the two that I had success with. I make websites that it looks like I own one of those businesses, right? And so then people land on that website and they call a phone number, and that forwards from a phone number that I own to my business partner, who is an actual roofer or is an actual HVAC technician. And I basically track and record all those calls, right? And so then you call them at the end of the month, and you say, hey, HVAC tech guy, I sent you, 5 phone calls this week. I charge you $100 per phone call, and they were all legit. They all lasted, over a minute. I can see that, they were not spam calls or anything like that. Like, they were legit calls. So this is how much you owe me, and then you just go from there. So I got to the point where I had 2 partners, and I was making like enough money to, not worry about my day job. I was still working day jobs, but I didn't really have to if I didn't want to. But then I just got lazy. I never got to the next level. I never got to the next business. I didn't multiply that business. So that's something that I need to work on myself. But yeah, deflationary assets, grow your income, or improve your current income streams. That's the not as good option. But live below your means, you guys. Like the third major point, I think, of this whole thing. Wait, ornaments and supplies, preserve yourself financially. The third one is like it goes into the second one, but it's like minimalism is not a bad thing to get into right now. I don't identify as a minimalist. I think it's like a stupid label. But I watch guys on YouTube that are like, I'm a minimalist, and it's like, dude, you're shooting this video on a couch, man. Like, you have a bookcase behind you. I don't know if you ever do those things. I think that's for like Barbies, basically. Like the desk, a chair, bed, kitchen supplies, 3D printer. Like nothing really that's like very few creature comforts, I would say. And I am much happier than when I was living downtown and not saving any money, blowing money on crazy material items that I don't even have to show, for spending a bunch of money on alcohol and entertainment and et cetera, and like basically I was always looking to consume. I had a very consumer mindset, and I like, especially when it came to entertainment, it's like when the weekend came, I would go out of my apartment with a bunch of money in my pocket, and I would expect to be entertained. And I'd be like, "Ooh, like what kind of great food does downtown have to offer me tonight? Where can I get some super fancy cocktails and seem super important while not really making any significant connections, friends, progress, or creations? You know, just consuming." And now my apartment is totally empty. I don't know. I might do like Alex Becker, he did like an apartment tour, where he's like, "Oh, look how woke I am, look how little stuff I have." So I might do that. I'm not gonna do it in this video because I'm just gonna do a lazy, no editing, long form cast style video. But yeah, I just don't have much, and I think I'm happier for it. And I think that right now is a really good time to look at your spending habits, look at your feng shui habits, like your organization. Do you have clutter in your house? How much does that affect you? For me, I know that affects me so much. Um, I I have a 2 bedroom apartment, right? And like the way I see it, like I pay a lot of money for this floor space, and I'm like, I don't want to clutter it up. I want to be able to walk around and pace and do yoga and do hula hooping and do stretching in every room of my house if I wanted to. Um, like this room, this is like the second room, and I have it basically set up like an office. It's just a desk, chair, and then it's like a lot of open space, and then I keep like some workout stuff in here sometimes, and it's standing desk so I can stand it up and keep watching whatever I'm watching or doing whatever I'm doing and do some jumping jacks or whatever. It's really nice to be able to do that. I can't stand it when I go into someone's apartment or someone's house and it feels like their stuff is just like eating you. You know what I mean? It's just like all over the walls and stacked up super high and ugh. Yeah. So I don't know. I think now's the way to go. I think that if you can adopt minimalism right now, if you can sell the stuff that you're not using, if you can keep your space clean, that'll benefit you a lot right now because it's very easy to get stressed right now. It's very easy to get emotional right now, etc., etc., etc. You don't want that. You don't want to go crazy and make some crazy decision that winds you up in some secret prison where they're torturing people. Who knows what the hell's going on in this country right now? If you don't think that's not going on, I don't know. Yeah, just get rid of your junk. Get rid of your junk. You're gonna feel so much better. It's gonna improve not only like your mental clarity and like your money and your stress levels, all that kind of shit. It's also gonna improve your logistical flexibility and your logistical nimbleness. And like right now, like for me, I'm thinking about moving, and I know that if I was living like I lived last year, when I was buying a bunch of shit, if I had this apartment full of stuff, moving would be such a bigger mental obstacle. It wouldn't really be that much more of like a financial or logistical problem. It would be like, oh, I'll just rent a slightly larger van or a slightly larger truck to make the move, and it'll take a little bit more time to load up. But I just know me, and I know that if I had a bunch of stuff, it would be a bigger mental obstacle, and I know that that's true for most people too. It's like when someone's like in an abusive relationship, you know what I mean, and they also live with the person. You should always tell that person to go get a storage unit, which sounds stupid, and like I guess like it's not really a solution, but what it does is if you have a storage unit big enough to at least hold the junk that's important to you, you have one less obstacle holding you basically in a crazy situation if it's a situation that you think you might need to get out of at some point. Like if you live with an abusive partner and they've been violent with you several times or whatever it is, and you think to yourself like, man, like if this happens again, like I'm gonna get out of here. If all your stuff is there, if you don't have a place to put it, that's just one more little mental obstacle that is going to give your crazy brain an excuse to stay there. It sucks. It's predatory, and that's, I don't know, people prey on it. It's pretty nasty. But yeah, it's like you tell those people to get a storage unit, and it's like, what does that do? It improves their logistical flexibility and nimbleness. It allows them to say, hey, maybe I don't have a place to rent. Maybe my new roommate isn't going to come in and beat up my abusive boyfriend and help me move all my stuff out. But hey, I at least have a storage unit that I can move my stuff to. My friend has a car. So if this happens again, I can call up my friends and call the police and come here, get my stuff, and take it there, and then stay with my friends or whatever it is you need to do. So it all comes back to, don't do that to yourself. Don't be in a bad relationship with yourself and hold yourself hostage in your own apartment with your own crap and your own money. Own your stuff. That's kind of how I see it. Because I mean that's my experience with it. Is like that's what I did. My stuff owned me, and I'll stay on my desk up here. My stuff owned me. My routine owned me. My paycheck, everything like that. Versus living out here in the suburbs of Portland and working the job that I had most recently. I just saved and invested, and now that there's crazy stuff in the world going on, it's like, geez Louise, like imagine where I would be if I hadn't have been as financially responsible. I was going to say conservative, but I've actually been the opposite. Like I'm very, very like not financially irresponsible, but like I haven't been conservative with investments. I'm like super aggressive. But yeah, I don't know. Like I know this is happening to a lot of people right now. Like for so many people, it's like they're past the point of me telling them like, hey, maybe you should like preserve your wealth. It's like, no, man. It's like there's no wealth to preserve for so many people right now. So many people right now are. I was saying this a month ago, or maybe like, I don't know. All the days are blending together, of course, But when all this started, and basically people have been out of their restaurant work and like the regular non-essential work. After like 2 weeks of that, I was like, people are running out of money right now. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out in a month or two. It's like, like maybe some people have that kind of flexibility, but for a lot of people right now, no. That's probably most Americans in most communities. I know people are saying like food banks and stuff like that are running out, or there's really long lines of food banks, and it's not a good situation. It's which goes back to the first stuff we covered is like get supplies and get armaments, but it sucks because there's so many people that can't even do that. They can't even go out and buy a Bitcoin with their last money in their account. They're already negative. They can't even go out and buy canned goods. They're already negative. They can't get anything, and it's crazy because it's like so many people that did nothing wrong. It's like they followed every rule. They didn't run the business. I mean, just like my boss of the company I got laid off from. I feel awful for him because Eric, if you're watching, what's up, man? I feel terrible for that guy because he was doing everything right. I mean, not everything. He wasn't a perfect CEO or anything like that. Everybody fucks up. Or everybody has their human moments. But he's a good business owner and CEO. He understands people. He understands like problem solving and business issues, all that kind of stuff. He was doing basically everything right, and this thing pulled the rug out from under him because, hey, it's like there's just no way to tell that something like this was coming, and it's awful. And the only real takeaway that anyone can have, whether you're doing well right now or whether you're out there riding because you have nothing else left, the only takeaway is in the future we have to be better at preparing. We have to be better at conserving and ultimately prepping. Like everyone that I talk to that has kids, I'm like, we're the next generation. Like your kids are probably going to be preppers, and all their friends are probably going to be preppers. I really think that way. Like imagine if you're like 12 or 13 right now, and like you're seeing like your parents lose your job, lose their jobs. You're seeing them argue about money. You know, you go to the grocery store and there's people acting bananas. There's people doing crazy things. People are driving crazy. You know, it's like when and if we get back to a period of stability where these kids are now 18 and they're going off to college and the parents are working again, imagine like just the mentality that those kids are going to have. Like just look at guns. Just look at what this whole thing has done to gun sales. And everyone talks about this right now. Every conversation that I'm in, people are talking about, oh, my liberal friend, she didn't like guns and she's vegetarian and now she's got an AK-47 and a 9/11 pistol. And it's like, yeah, man. I mean, like that's going to happen with other supplies too. It's going to happen with, I don't know, energy. I think is going to be more decentralized because of this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to take a off-camera break here. So yeah, man, I wish I could do a live. It says I'll try to do a live one tomorrow. It says 24 hours, so maybe this time tomorrow it'll allow me to do that. Maybe start interacting with the chat, whatever, dude. I'll do it. I don't care. I'll read chat. What else? Do I have any more notes? Or is that everything that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, I watched a video by Money Rules, which is the Modern Investor's alternate account. He's been putting out some really good content, man. Like that guy, I think he's super underrated. His voice is awesome. Like he has a really warm but enthused kind of voice, you know what I mean? Like it's very engaging, but it's not like overwhelming, which is kind of how I perceive myself as like a little bit too spiky. You know, he's very warm and rounded. Yeah, man, check him out. Modern Investor and Money Rules is his new channel. But yeah, I was watching on his new channel. He was like putting out ideas like, man, like I don't know what to do to help people right now. Like my specialty is finance and you know, investing in cryptocurrencies. And so he was putting out like ways that he thought, you know, you could help yourself right now in these situations. And so he put out like this huge list of like 24 ways that you can, you know, basically side hustle ideas. And so I was taking notes of the ones that I really liked and maybe the ones that I want to try out, and also like ideas that I was having listening to him. So yeah, he was saying like dog walking, you can make really good money doing that. Like he was saying like basically $100 per day per dog in certain areas. That's probably for like super high-end clients. But if you think about it, if you're taking one dog out, and let's say it's like somebody's prized poodle or something, and they broke their leg, so they need a dog walker, and they want to walk like 4 times a day. You know, it's like 4 times a day for like 30 minutes each time. It's like, okay, yeah, that's I could see that being worth that amount of money to some people. What other ones that I like? These are ones that I like might try. You know, if I get to this point. But hey, I also was talking earlier. I need to grow my streams of income. So that was like basically the first one that he said, and I was like, I'll just write down the ones that I like. I really don't like that one that much though. But he did kind of remind me of this next one, of photography. And so this opened up like multiple ideas in my head. So he was saying like wedding photography, which, I mean, yeah, everybody knows that you can make money being a wedding photographer. And like my good friend Cosmo, he says, you know, like if you have a good camera, you're a photographer. And it's like, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. You know, so wedding photography, that'd be one. That'd be like just on the weekends or whatever, you know. And there's all kinds of stuff that you can do at weddings. Um, he was talking about like people get hired to be like a body at a wedding where you just show up and like you're just there to celebrate and like be like, oh yeah, I know that guy, and you're just hired guest, or like people do that for funerals too, I guess. But for me, like photography seems like it'd be a pretty good one. I think I could be pretty good at that. Yeah, I mean, just using like smartphone cameras and stuff like that. I mean, that's super easy to do. I mean, being a photographer is like just finding the right angle, considering the light, considering the timing, and pressing a button. you know. So I kind of like that idea. But yeah, just him saying like wedding photography, I was like, well, what if I did get like some really nice cameras, you know? Because it's like I mean, if I'm gonna be doing YouTube, it's like I need at least a few good cameras. If I want to start doing these podcasts with like a guest or two, I'm gonna want at least 3 cameras if I have just one guest, because I'm gonna want maybe a shot of both of us and then each of our faces. Yeah, and then even with that, I don't know how I would do it if I would need like a producer or something like that, to do all the editing or click back between the angles, or if I would be able to manage that myself. Maybe I'd be able to manage it myself. I don't know. It doesn't seem like if I could get like a second keyboard or something like that, like something easy, and it's like that one is just for the controls for changing the camera angle. There are these 2 buttons, middle camera angle, and doesn't seem like it'd be that crazy to do. But maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, dude, if I may as well, right? I may as well get some cameras. So if I had a really nice camera, though, if I had a really nice DSLR, like what are the kind of projects that I want to do other than weddings? And I was thinking like marine photography, because I see the videos of the catamarans and the videos of the sailboats and even the videos of the motor yachts and other kinds of boats that are on YouTube that are just like the tours. Those get so many views, and there's not many people that are like known personalities that are really, really good at giving the tours and that have a lot of videos. So I think there's a big opening right there, and I think I would be really good at that. Whether I had someone to operate the camera or if I was like holding myself, either way, I think I'd be good at having like that surface level understanding and communication of all the systems of the boat and being interested in that side of it, and then also the interior and the sails and the way everything works. Basically, like the whole shape. The whole shape is really like where I nerd out a lot, because that's like where drag comes in, and yeah, I mean that's to me like where a lot of performance decisions should be getting made if you're designing your hull correctly. Yeah, but a lot of brands out there, it's just like they're just making a floating condo, and it's like that's great. But it's like they're getting more competitive. If you look at like the 2005, 2006, like Fontaine Pajot or like Lagoon or Leopard, those boats, the hull designs back then, it's like they didn't care. They're like, no, like it goes 8 knots. That's great. Versus now, it's like they're finally figuring it out, and more brands are coming in and starting to really like slap them down. So yeah, I think I'd be really good at that. That's like, especially if I move to Miami and it's like there's all these marinas. It's like what did I move here for? It's like that could be a reason. That could be one of the like ultimately I want to be on charter boats, but there's a lot of marinas in Miami. So it's like I go to all these marinas, find boats for sale, and be like, I will make you a video, and you can have it for your channel if you want, until the boat sells, and we can move it to my channel, or we can just put it on my channel if you don't, and help people sell their boats, man, and get a bunch of views. I don't know, maybe like get some percentage or something if the sale comes from my video. Maybe like do an interview with them and talk about how they use the boat. Anything, There's so many directions that you could go with that. There's so much content that could be done with that, like marine photography. I forget that there is one guy though on YouTube who specifically does mostly sailboats, mostly sailing catamarans. He's something with Denison Yachts. maybe it's Wiley with Denison Yachts. I don't know. But yeah, he's got good videos. I mean, he's very knowledgeable. It seems like he's been in the industry for a while. And I think he's like a broker. I think Denison Yachts is like, they work with production boat companies and sell used ones and maybe do charters. I don't know. But yeah, it's like maybe I could just do that version of what he's doing, but like free form, you know, where I'm not working for Denison Yachts or for any company specifically. I just have a YouTube channel and I go out and find people that maybe have a boat for sale, maybe don't have a video, or maybe their video is really poopy, or maybe it's really old, whatever it is, you know. I think I'm gonna try that out. I think I'm gonna get a nice camera. I don't know which ones. I haven't looked at cameras in a while. One of the like websites I did way back in the day, whenever I first got into like web design and internet marketing, and this was like 2011, 2012. Hanging out with Brandon Johnson, watching Alex Becker videos all day. Yeah, we would. One of the websites that we worked on was an affiliate website, which is basically like you set up. For us, it was for cameras, and it was a camera review website. Am I getting a buzz right now? Oh, I just got a missed call. Shit. Let me see if this is for a job or something, or if it's one of my buddies calling me or something. Spectra Force. Oh, is it 800 numbers? Dude. This is blah blah blah. Web developer interview tomorrow. He says he's available tomorrow, so that means I don't have to text him back right away, so buzz off. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. But yeah, cameras. Where was I? Oh yeah, affiliate website. One of the sites that Brandon and I made. One of the first sites that we worked on together was like an affiliate. I forget what domain we had. It was some spammy domain with like the year in it or something like that. You know, like best camera reviews 2012 or something to that measure. I think is what it was. But yeah, an affiliate website is like, we set up basically camera reviews. We had, you know, this is what we think of this camera. Here's some pictures of this camera. Here's some like customer reviews of the camera. Here's a video of the camera. Here's a long paragraph about this camera. The lenses operate super quietly, or whatever it is camera people jerk off to about. I don't know, but then we have links to buy the cameras. So we don't actually sell the cameras. We're an affiliate site. So you click on the link, it takes you to Amazon. It doesn't have to be with Amazon. It can be with lots of websites have affiliate programs. But it takes you to Amazon, and then you buy the camera. So it's actually a cookie. When you click on that link on an affiliate site, it's putting a cookie into your browser, an Amazon.com cookie. And it actually doesn't have to be the product that you click to. Now it's just you have that affiliate cookie, and if you buy anything off of Amazon, they get a cut of it. So the idea is you get your website to rank highly in Google, and you for like keywords of people that are searching to find like a new camera. So they say like best DSLR for marine photography is what they would type into Google. And then you would want to get your website ranked for that. For, you know, you have a camera that is a marine camera, and that's your review page for it. So they go to that, they click it, and you get a little cut whenever they buy that really nice camera off of Amazon for like $1,500 or whatever it costs, you know. You get a little cut of that. The percentages are varying. Like for the ones we were doing, I think it was like less than 10%. And then I think for Amazon specifically, like the highest payout they have for certain categories is like 20%. I think that was for like pet toys. At the time, it's probably changed though. It's probably different, way different now. Who knows? But yeah, we had one of those sites. So I remember learning a bit about cameras at that time, but the market is, again, probably totally different. So I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna figure out which camera I need to get, and maybe which one's gonna last if I end up living on a sailboat. Like a salt water resistant corrosion lenses and I don't know, maybe like there's some treatment that I could do to like the body of a DSLR, like a gel coat or a dip or something like that. I'll have to research that. Figure out what my options are. Maybe I could just get like a used DSLR, like a couple year old one, because there's loads of people out there that buy those and never use them, or use them for like one vacation or something like that, and just find somebody like that willing to. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There's probably gonna be people getting rid of stuff right now for cheap. Find somebody on Craigslist or something. I'll write this down. Used camera. So yeah, I think that's what I would do, is like marine kind of photography, boat tours. I don't know, maybe underwater stuff. Maybe if there's money for that. I mean, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about like the whole boat life thing, and I think the direction I would take with it, if I was like financially stable enough to do so, would be like an activist route, and do whatever I can to express to people that the oceans need a lot of attention right now and need to be considered in our production and waste disposal decisions. Even if that's just like making cool videos of whatever remaining wildlife reefs and craziness there is in there, and getting people to realize that, hey, there's people that really, really enjoy this stuff, and you can really come enjoy it too, but only if we, take care of it. So that's like another route, kind of. But yeah, I think also with the photography, I wrote down like food and restaurant photography. He was talking about some of his friends one of his friends like goes to restaurants and looks at their social page like while they're eating there, and then if it's like a crummy social page, or they don't have like current photos, or everything looks really bad or anything like that, they'll say, hey, like I do this for a living, I got my camera with me, or I can come back, but I'll take a bunch of pictures of your food in your restaurant, great angles, great lighting, make sure it looks perfect, take it back to my place, do whatever Photoshop I need to do to say, hey, this costs this much money, or like make it look really, really awesome, or just, optimize it, whatever they want to do to it, put words on it, and then publish it on your social media page, at this time, and like do it on a schedule so that you get one post per week, or however many you want to pay for, or some of them maybe will want to do a subscription plan, just do everything you can for me for this much a month, So it's like, that could be a route. I don't know how much I would want to go into the whole like social media management. I think I would maybe just like be like, yeah, I'm just a food photographer, and then you do what you want with the pictures. Like kind of more like a wedding photographer, where it's like, you just take the pictures, edit them, and then provide them to whoever's paying. That sounds nicer to me than like, because being somebody's social media manager, I can't just do that as a web developer with internet marketing experience. I'm gonna be talking about how to get them a website and all that kind of stuff, and then it's like, well, now I'm just back at square one doing WordPress websites for local businesses. So yeah, but I think like with that, an idea that gave me that he didn't talk about was like working closer with the restaurants to make their dishes actually look nice every time, not just in the pictures. And so I would call this dish design, was my idea. So it's like, hey, I want to take pictures of your food, and then you go take pictures of food, and like it doesn't look good, and you're like, hey, we need to do some dish design here, buddy. This is another service that I do. And so then like you actually go into the kitchen with them, wash your hands, look at their ingredients, figure out new ways to cut them, new ways to prep it, new ways to put a little bit of pepper on the avocado, man. Like just those extra little details. Have the dish be symmetric or otherwise well presented. Like I love that. I love doing that for myself. I love doing that when I'm cooking for other people. I love doing it whenever I was working at restaurants. Like I had a few different like prep positions whenever I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina. Like at a couple different places, and I love doing that. Like I just like making salads and stuff, and like cut the apples in like a really precise or new way so that you could arrange it just more nicely and eye-catchingly. Like you eat with your eyes first, and I think about so many restaurants just like are like, that's for really fancy places, and it's like, doesn't have to be, number one, and number two, if that's all that separates a really fancy place, then why don't you just become a really fancy place? You keep everything else the same, make your dishes look really awesome, so that everyone. Then it's like, see, this is the rub of like why I don't want to do the social media thing, because it's like I want to make your dishes so beautiful with my dish design and with my initial photography, that it's like you take whatever and do whatever you want with those pictures, but it doesn't even matter. The pictures don't even matter because the dishes look amazing. All these people have cameras on their phones. They all come in and they say, wow, look at this salad or look at this hamburger. This is so amazing. It looks great. I'm going to take a picture of it, of course, before I eat it. And then put it on my social media, and all my friends are going to, you know what I'm saying? So I think like that, if I went into that route, yeah, I would use photography as a way to like wedge and incept the idea into the restaurant owners' heads to do this even better service for them and for me. It'd be like more fun for me, very, very satisfying for me to do that. Whether like whether I was working at a restaurant or like preparing a dish for a friend, like that's the best feeling in the world to like not only cook it and have it taste really good, but to also like that's like the little cherry on top, that looks really, really nice. I think anyway. Some people it's like not important to them, or some people even like make fun of it. But there's legit science behind it, so look it up, Junior. Dish design, yeah, like enhancements to it. I don't think I would I already talked about that. The social promotions for a restaurant, that just sounds, I don't know. It sounds like I would devolve that into like turning it into like a service, and having an employee and having like a sales page with like different tiers, and it's like, doesn't sound super appealing to me. Maybe somebody else though would work with me and do all that work, huh? Yoga instructor, yeah, I don't think I would really ever get into that. He said online notaries, and again, this is the Money Rules channel, the Modern Investor's second channel we're talking about. He was talking about online notaries make really good money, and that's just like, you have like a fax machine or a scanner or a printer, and people, you just notarize people's documents. I guess they send you your passport, and then you just scan it and confirm that it's legit and not printed by the mafia. He said bingo runner. I'm like, dude, I'm moving to Florida. That might be a good one. Acupuncture, I don't think I would be interested in if I wasn't wanting to like become a captain and go that whole route. So like, I've had the like idea in the back of my head of being a charter captain since I was 18, basically. And I talked about it whenever I first moved to Wilmington from Greenville. I remember talking about it with some people that I had met like initially. I've had the idea for a long time, and the idea has always been like I would be able to take people out and really target the high end by just having bells and whistles out the wazoo, extra services, extra ways to just spoil anyone that's on board, whether it's like a couple or whether it's a family or anything. A bunch of friends that just want to party, like having extra ways, making the drinks look amazing. Again, making really, really fantastic, presentable dishes, being a good cook. Maybe acupuncture, massages, playing the violin or viola for them. Like, just really take it to the next level. And maybe that means like actual bells and like physical bells and whistles on your boat too. I've been seeing on some of the they're calling them expedition or explorer class yachts, and these are yachts that are set up to do powered trips around the globe, basically. Have huge fuel tanks and big motors, stuff like that. But they're putting freaking isolation chambers and saunas, steam rooms, like nice bathtubs, jacuzzis. I've seen on some sailing catamarans they have like in the front cockpit they'll install a jacuzzi, and actually like in some of them it's like there's storage lockers like on the superstructure of the catamaran, so not on the hulls, but on like the superstructure middle part that connects those two. At the very front of it, so there's two holes. In the middle of those two holes, right? In the middle of these two holes, there's like storage lockers sometimes towards the front, and sometimes people just build a hot tub in that. Like they go get a measure and drop it in. So it's like, yeah, just having all those ways to spoil the hell out of anyone that's on board, I think, is how you would not only get more satisfaction out of it yourself, but also be able to charge more money for it and make your customers happy. Or if it's like you're just having friends on board, it's like, hey, I'm going to give you the full experience of what I would give to someone, a paying customer. I think that'd be really, really fun to do. I think it'd be really satisfying and social, and yeah. So acupuncture. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do acupuncture if it wasn't for all that other stuff. Then wedding guest for hire, we already talked about that. Oh yeah, the other one, interesting one, is the last one I wrote down from the ideas he was mentioning, was the decoy executive. So this this is like you get paid. I guess people get paid. And it's kind of like a secret shopper kind of deal, except for instead of a store, it's an event. So you're going to like some corporate event or some probably not a corporate event, probably more like conferences or what's the word? Like summits. Like if you're in development, they have like the dev summits for all these different technologies, where all the companies that use that stack or that library, whatever it is, come in and talk to other people that are using it in the industry and how they're doing things and how they're making money. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think that those are all good ideas. He talks about more if you actually go watch his video, but I don't know, man. Like you gotta find ways right now to grow your income streams. Not just take your salary and make it wider, but to add a second salary, add your own business. Do something for another business where it's like you don't have a job, whether it's like affiliate marketers or SEO and stuff like that, or working for other businesses, just totally freelance, like the restaurant kind of stuff that I was talking about. I don't know, like I want to get more into like product design, like especially with like the marine stuff. I look at the marine industry and I'm noticing like, well, like this doesn't just have to be like a way to see the world. Like there's so many different career options that are available, and it's like the people that are in that industry have money. I'm not talking about like the people that are. I'm not talking about like I'm gonna have money, but it's like, or I'm not talking about like the workers in that industry make a lot of money. I'm saying like people that have boats have a lot of money. People that are gonna be potentially buying the marine products. It's like price isn't really a thing. It's not really a thing if it does something great. Look at the sailboats. Look at any boats. And then everything that goes along with it: the anchors, the lines, the chains, the hardware, the maintenance, the engines, all that stuff. There's a lot of money in it. And for me, like I want to do like product, like look at like the energy generation on board. Like people are still using generators, and it's like they're still having diesels on board. And it looks like, actually, I was really, really surprised that like Volvo. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it was cool to see that Volvo is working with Fontaine Pajot, and I think it was on one of their 44 footers. It was in like 2018. It was a while ago. I just hadn't ever seen the video because I hadn't been interested in this stuff before. But they had a video of an electric drivetrain, made by Volvo, and they were figuring out like, do we still need to have a generator on board, all this kind of stuff. So there's definitely, I think, room in that market that I could grow into to I don't know, find new ways to optimize the solar or have more solar real estate, whether it's like, wings that come out of the side or like a solar dinghy that you like drag behind your boat, or like you could deploy it while you're anchored. And, that way, like I just think about if you had a dinghy, right, there's things that you could do that you wouldn't do with solar on the top of your bimini or the top of your roof on your boat, right? Like you wouldn't want like an actuating solar panel out there, because it's like that's so much hardware and stuff that you're going to have to deal with, and the space that takes up. It's like you want to keep that down, you want to keep the drag down, you just want to plop the solar panel. But if it's on a dinghy behind you, it's like, well, it's its own structure. You may as well, you could, have some actuation in there and, not have huge mechanical parts in there, because then you would lose the opportunity to make it be collapsible and deployable, which I think would be super optimal. But yeah, just in general, I think there's there's opportunity there for sure. I don't know, you guys. I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Running out of steam. I've been going for an hour. This is the longest video I've ever made so far, huh? See what the price of Bitcoin's doing. It's still jumping around 9,600. It looks like the time of recording this. But yeah, I don't know. We had all those candles close. And it looks, I don't know. Nothing really looks. It looks like it didn't really have any impact. We're still chilling at 96. Oh, well, actually, we're over now, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's all I got to say for the day. Thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know if I can make it better. Yeah, we'll talk next time. Later.